Welcome, 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 folks, to another Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV. Give me 1 second, lost some lighting. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this week on Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV, oh man, we're about to dive into something that may have a shocking future for real estate, for the buyers, and maybe even for the agents. Um, let's talk about it. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but in the news, the National Association of Realtors is in the news, and uh, there's a lawsuit, a commission lawsuit, and I'm actually reading this from the Washington Post. The jury awards 1.8 million in realty case that could shake up brokerage commission. A Kansas City jury unanimously found that the National Association of Realtors and other organizations conspired to artificially inflate home sale commissions. Now, I don't know what's going on in Kansas City, so I don't have all the full details of how they inflated them. But from what we're talking about around the office and all, is the fact that when an agent gets a list and he gets actual inventory to put on the market, that agent then goes out and he negotiates with the seller the amount to pay his commission and for the buyer's agent commission. And this is what's sparking these lawsuits, because I guess these other states, these sellers are saying, "Hey, we paid too much. Why did I pay? Why did I have to pay for that buyer?" And at the end of this, I would love some comments and at a later date tonight, anybody that's watching, to give some feedback on what they think. Well, and this is even investors now, because now think about this, investors, you know. So let's talk. Let's see a little bit about what's going on here. So this is by Julian Mark for the Washington Post, updated on October 31st. Kansas City jury unanimously found Tuesday that the National Association of Realtors and other real estate organizations conspired to artificially inflate home sale commission, and a case that could change how much home sellers pay real estate agents. Commissions in a case, we spent 4.5 years uncovering the evidence of conspiracy, led plaintiff attorney Michael Ketchmark. That's what he told the Washington Post. When the jury saw the evidence and heard the testimony, they agreed that this was wrong and illegal. I'm going to have to find that video and see if they have the testimony live. Jurors on Tuesday awarded 1.8 billion in damages to about 500,000 Missouri home sellers. The case has been winding through federal court since 2019, when a group of home sellers alleged in lawsuit that the National Association of Realtors, along with real estate firms Keller Williams Realty and Home Services of America, conspired to keep commission artificially high. So I don't even know how. I guess they maybe played a monopoly, depending on who they have, how many brokerages they have in Kansas City. I know here we end up having to negotiate with sellers. So how did these companies keep the commission rate inflated when you can negotiate those things and it's written on the actual listing agreement? So I don't understand how they're winning this lawsuit when clearly all they have to do is go negotiate with another agent and or tell another agent from another company that they want lower fees. So that's confusing to me. The plaintiffs point out to a NAR rule that requires sellers to make a non-negotiable commission offer before listing homes on the property database, multiple listing service or MLS, which feed widely used real estate sites, including Zillow. That commission hovers around 5 to 6% of the sale price and is paid by the seller to the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. If the sellers do not agree to the commission terms, they go virtually unseen in the market, Ketchmark said. That's not true. So that's not true. There's agents competing for the business. So unless there's just something funky going on in Kansas City, I don't see how. I really have to hear a little bit more than what I'm uncovering here, because I don't see that. That's not here in the DMV, so I'm not sure. You have to negotiate, and if the listing agent doesn't like it, he goes to another client. So the rule has stifled competition and has resulted in higher prices, the plaintiffs allege. They argue that if the rule were not in place, buyers would pay commission to their agents, while buyers' agents would have to compete by offering lower rates. The lawsuit pointed to countries whose total real estate commission averaged 1 to 3%, such as the United Kingdom, Singapore, the Netherlands, Australia, and Belgium. Analyst says Tuesday's verdict, as well as a similar class action case against NAR in Illinois, could change the way commissions work, particularly in the judge overseeing the Missouri case issues an injunction bearing predetermined commission rates, as well as shared commission between buyer and seller agents. Analysts with Keefe, Bruyette, and Woods wrote in a research note Tuesday. They said changes could come if regulators, such as the Justice Department, intervene. We believe it is possible the DOJ would proactively weigh in during the injunction determination in order to make the changes that it believes is necessary to promote a fair and competitive market. The analysis note said. So sounds like, in my opinion, there's something crazy going on in Kansas City and maybe some of these other states, because clearly here in the DMV, we are negotiating like crap. The bad thing about, in my opinion, us negotiating like crap to feed our families is the fact that there's underground real estate happening right under our noses as realtors, but as realtors, we're getting hit for going out and negotiating fees to make sure that the listing agent gets paid well for providing the service that they provide, and the buyer's agent, who normally brings the buyer, gets paid well for bringing the buyer and help keep that transaction together. This doesn't make sense to me. I'm lost on this, because all of this is saying is saying like, hey, they have one commission rate and it's stuck there. No, we negotiate this, and then I've even been trained to really kind of negotiate more for my commission and then leave a chart to share. Hey, so what would you like to pay your buyer's agent who brings your buyer? And then the seller can pick it. So where's the inflated? The only thing I see is that I can go in and say, hey, this is what I want to get paid. And then what are you willing to pay this person? Or I negotiate to pay the ballpark, which is the average of what's actually being paid out there. So I'm not seeing where's the inflated part. I'm not seeing how the lawsuit actually, I would love to hear more, especially for 500,000 Missouri home sellers. Like, what were they doing there? That's just, wow. What were they doing there? So the analysts predicted an October report that Change to the system could reduce the 100 billion consumers paying commission by 30%. From a catalyst perspective, a court-ordered injunction could unbundle commission nationally by early 2024. That could be a problem. Um, Eliminating the long-standing practice of listing agents and sellers setting and paying buyer agent commissions to report states. So investors immediately reacted. Zillow shares dropped almost 7% Tuesday, and Redfin shares sank 5.7%. You don't want a problem in the housing market. I tell you that. That's what 2008 brought. That brought a recession. You don't want a problem. We already got enough problems, if you ask me. So, Mantle Williams, a spokesman for National Association of Realtors, said the association will appeal the verdict, adding that this matter is not close to being final. We stand by the fact that the National Association of Realtors guidance with local MLS broker marketplaces ensure consumers get comprehensive, equitable, transparent, and reliable home information that brokers of any size, service, or pricing model get a fair shot at competing, Williams said. So we go in and we negotiate our pay, just like any other person going in. The only difference is maybe we're putting our percentage, which is somewhat of an average percentage out there. But if I go get a job, the job knows that they want to pay $20 an hour or whatever that figure is. And if I want 25, I got to ask for it, negotiate it. Not understanding. Everybody knows exactly what's going on here. So I really need someone to chime in and tell me, how do they win a lawsuit based on facts that they were signed off on? You have a contract. Listing agreements have a contract. Home Services, who was parent and Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, said in a statement that the company will also appeal the verdict. Today's decision means that the buyers will face even more obstacles in an already challenging real estate market, and sellers will have a harder time realizing the value of their homes, the company said in a statement. Keller Williams spokesman Daryl Frost said the company is disappointed that before the jury decided this case, the court did not allow them to hear the crucial evidence that cooperative compensation is permitted under Missouri's law. RE/MAX and Everywhere Real Estate were originally defendants in the Missouri and Illinois lawsuit before settling in early October. RE/MAX said it agreed to pay $55 million into a settlement fund, while Anywhere said it agreed to pay $84 million. Wow. Folks, let's talk about it. So let's say whatever is happening in Missouri and Kansas City and all of that stuff spread itself to the DMV. I'm going to start off with the worst case scenario first. Baltimore City, Washington, D.C., Virginia's lower income communities where folks are buying, and they're getting 100% financing. In most cases, those folks are actually getting 100% financing because they don't have the additional resources, maybe, to pay all of their down payment and all of their closing costs. Now, we're just going to talk about grant stuff here. If there's and I need anybody that can chime in, and all over the U.S., if you see this video, please chime in and help me out with this one. I really like to know this, or anybody in Baltimore that understands this in the DMV area. If there's grants and the closing costs on the grants, there's fees there that end up having to be paid. Now, in Baltimore City alone, in most cases, when I work with my rehabbers who buy, fix, and flip properties and resell, they normally end up having to absorb up to 6% of the purchase price for closing costs for the buyer. Why is that? Because the buyer may not have the money. The buyer may have a down payment. They might not have the closing costs, right? So now, what we're speculating here with this new lawsuit is if there's a listing agent and a seller who's not willing to compensate for both the listing agent and the buyer's agent, when you, the buyer, go out and you come to hire me to help you buy a house, my agreement with you is going to have to show my commission. Now, let's talk about that very quickly. Now, let's say my commission is 3%. Average home, let's just use a Baltimore City deal. The average home in Baltimore City is about 200,000. And you do 3% of that. Now, if the buyer now has to pay my 3% commission, which is $6,000, the buyer also have to put 3.5% down. Or, like I say, we talk about the people that have down payment assistance. Well, you got down payment assistance. You have enough for the down payment. Now you have closing costs. Let's say closing costs is 4.5%. It's back to 7.5% that a buyer that's already using down payment assistance would have to pay. Now, I assume talking to some lenders yesterday, well, maybe there's some money left over from the grant to offset that. But you need to know that in the beginning. So that might be a challenge in a sense, because if I meet the client and they sign my agreement before they even get pre-approval, that means we got to redo this whole process. We got to, because but I have been looking at quite a few videos that say, hey, that's over there. I can't really see the change making a whole lot of difference, because what we do know is that the buyer's agents kind of put in the work to help sell the listing agent product. Now, here's the other thing. Let's say listing agents start putting zero in and they don't want to pay, the seller doesn't want to pay the buyer's agent. So will it really be ethical for a buyer to say, hey, I want to go see 123 Main Street, and the buyer's agent says, well, let me check. I'm sorry, they don't pay commission. I can't take you to go see that property. Now we have a catch-22, which could really hurt, because a lot of the buyers, especially when they come through Zillow and Trulia and all these other places, they just want to see houses. They already don't want to sign anything with you. So this will force an agent to have to say, look, in order for me to take you out to go see a property, I first need to see your pre-approval, and I also need you to sign a buyer's agency agreement, also an agreement on paying my commission fee. And right now, I'm just talking to low income buyers, $200,000 house or so. How do you feel if that change come to you now? If you want to buy a house, and we've been out here saying that buying a house is where you need to be, buying a house is where you need to build wealth. How do you feel about that? That's the biggest thing that's actually been on my mind for a while, is that how will this thing affect the buyers who are using down payment assistance when they need all of that money for the down payment and closing costs? How will they be able to afford their real estate agent? And we haven't even, this just came to my mind. What happens to the real estate teams who are based on the team leaders as the listing agent, and most of the team members are buyer's agents? What happens with that? Now, like some of these other videos I've watched so far in regards to this, I don't see it now, uh, any changes that needs to be made because I don't see why a listing agent right now not being forced to change anything will go into a listing agreement, listing appointment and not negotiate the proper commission the way they've been. I don't know if you should add fuel to a fire that has not started. So I think everybody should, in my opinion, um, buyers for right now, you see things as normal. Sellers for right now, you see things as normal. Um, unless something comes down the pike and we're being forced to do something else. I just don't see it making any sense at all. Um, not now, don't get me wrong. I won't say in a sense that it's a bad thing to say that buyers should have their own costs. I've had buyers, but some buyers don't even know. They come to me and say, well, how much I gotta pay you? So I'm not saying that buyers shouldn't have their own costs, but I think because historically buyers have not had that additional cost, it's going to be a problem trying to push that into motion. But like I say, in areas with lower income, that could be a huge problem. And anybody out there, correct me if I'm wrong, um, first off, the investors in like an area like Baltimore City, they stabilized the real estate market, the number of investors that come in. If the investors come in and they have to add another 3% to their purchase and they don't get the purchase at the right number, there's going to be a lot of houses stuck in the market. We already have low inventory. What what happens there? Investor comes in, he or she can pay XYZ plus the renovation cost. Now they got to tag in the buyer's agent commission. Hmm. Numbers could get thrown way off. And we're just talking about, we haven't even gotten into any of the other areas. I don't even think I'm gonna go into any of the higher point areas. This is my concern right here. What is going to happen in the low income, uh, the lower home price communities where probably, and I'm just throwing a number out there, probably 80% of the transactions are done with down payment assistance. A huge number of those buyers are investors trying to help stabilize those communities. That could cause a big problem, folks. Big, 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 big problem. Again, on the down payment assistance side, I'd rather see my buyers put money down and have some juice in the game when they're actually buying their first home. And then 5, 10, 15 years down the road, they could see what uh, what their investment has done for them. And then we can call them investors, home investors, real estate investors, and not just homeowners. That's actually what you are when you purchase a home. You're investing for your future. You're investing for your family's future. So once again, um, if you catch this video, if you're looking at the video, comment. I'll check the comments. If I have to make another video to answer some of the comments, I would love anybody out there that sees this video. If I said anything that's off, anything that, please comment. I would love to hear your point of view on this. This is yeah, this is my livelihood. This is what I do. And here's the other thing. This is why I can go either way on it, because with the buyers actually paying, I have buyers that if I put them in front of you, the type of work that I do as a realtor, the way I make sure transactions stay together, um, the way I've been, I actually go out and find houses for some of my buyers. It's not just on the MLS. I'm actually working just the same way I'm working to try to find listings. I'm also working to find unique houses for some of my buyers. So I think my pay would be justified with the work I do. So again, hey, leave some comments, like, share with some folks, man. Tell them folks to come and subscribe. Come check us out. Get the real estate news that you can use. Hey, another Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV, and I appreciate you once again for stopping by, taking the time to listen to what I have to say. I'm signing off. Talk to you next week.